And Are You Okay is a not safe for work podcast, so any young listeners are discouraged from continuing. However, we literally have no way to track that, so do whatever the hell you want and enjoy the show.
We're busy people.
I mean, I guess I am Italian, so
there you go. Use guyses.
Guys.
A couple of hoagies.
Yeah.
Some hoagies.
Some hoagies.
And some water.
That's a little Delco, right?
Yeah,
Water spelled with 2 O's.
Yeah, definitely the Delco lingo. It's hilarious because like a lot of my cousins live there and they're not from there, but boy did they somehow adopt that accent. It's it's a blasty blast when they talk.
I think the one word I say that is very Philly is apparently I say home weird.
You say home? What you say? Home? The home? Trying to go home?
Home.
Yeah, it's
home.
great. It's great.
Home.
Yeah,
like,
home.
You know, I'm meditating.
You know what's funny?
I'm not meditating, but
totally. This could stay or not, but it's hilarious because I always say like Philly for real is like a tale of two accents. Like people talk about like the Philly accent, but there's like the city of Philadelphia, like how we talk, and then like the Hoagies and the South Jersey and all that stuff.
It's totally like Delco and
yeah, but it's just like, but when people talk about like the Philly accent, it's just like no one's ever like, all right, which Philly accent are you talking? Because there's more than one.
Right. If you want Delco, you watch Mayor of Easttown. If you want the regular Philly accent, now I'm lost. I don't even know what I would recommend.
So that's what I'm saying, because it's like, so like weirdly, that whole pocket that's like down South Philly by the stadiums, they all talk a specific way, like South Philly Italian. That's like a thing. Like that's like a racial denomination. South Philly Italian. Like they say the whole thing. It's like, what are you, South Philly Italian? And and it makes sense if you from here. You're like, I know exactly what you are.
Yeah.
But then but you got like the city of Philadelphia, which I would imagine is like the majority. Like I guess the pop culture accent is like, that's like the city that talk like that. Well, you know, it's all fun. So we're all one big family unless you're from, you know, Plymouth Meeting.
Yeah. Whoa. You throw a rock to it and I could hit Plymouth Meeting.
Nah, so my gripe against Plymouth Meeting is there's people from Plymouth Meeting that say they're from Philly.
Oh yeah, no. I think that's like I tell people, or like if I'm out of state, I'll tell people I'm from
the greater Philadelphia area.
I don't say that. I probably should. I grew up in the burbs.
That's always a fun one when people try to.
I did live in Philly for 3 years, though.
I mean, there you go. As long as you lived here, don't matter if you was born here. If you was
I've experienced some cold winters, my friend.
There you go.
Everyone calls Chicago the Windy City, but they don't talk about Chicago. Philadelphia can be quite a wind tunnel itself. Yeah, the winters here definitely can suck. I must say, because we've had some like pretty global warming Leonardo DiCaprio style winters, and I did not miss the bad ones. The one that we just had, and it wasn't even that bad by like previous snowstorm standards. But I was just like, fuck snow. I did not miss this at all the past 2 years. So during Hurricane Sandy, I was going to school in Center City, and that was like the last time I watched the extended editions of Lord of the Rings all the way through. It's the only way to watch them, baby. And I was really high, like really high. Also, the only way to watch them, baby. Yeah. So they felt like an eternity, but I was like, and you can have my bong. Like, fucking hilarious. Yo, you know what I just watched High, and this is like a wonderful way to like bring us into what we're here to do. I watched Empire High for the first time, and man, did I get such a different experience. I feel like maybe we should do a whole recap after watching that. You're listening to Annie, are you okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
A Star Wars podcast, a not safe for work take on the galaxy you know and love. I am your host, Mikey, the human holocron himself.
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
And I am here with my guy, Matthew Porter, Rogue One.
Checking in, baby.
I was going to ask.
I know you were going to ask. I got too antsy. I pulled the trigger too quick.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just glad to be talking Star Wars. We got a good one today. We do have a good one. I'm throwing the spoiler warning in now because it is. There's no way we're not talking about spoilers in this episode because we got a big old trailer we got to talk about. And
not going to say we manifested it, but
I was trying. I will say I was trying to manifest
I feel like you said that in the episode.
And we got what we wanted. I knew it was coming. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones, Annie. I could feel it in my bones. Before we dive into the topic for this week, Matt, I do want to talk to you more about watching Empire Strikes Back High. But before we do so, just a reminder to vote for our very own Ray the Ruiner. She's been nominated.
The Ruiner.
For Podcast Her of the Year at the Game Her Awards. Please go log in, press that heart, and hopefully we get a little old accolade here at Andy. Are You Okay? Star Wars podcast.
Bang, bang from the Grey Hoodie Gang, you know? Vote for Ray.
Vote for Ray, motherfucker. Vote for Ray.
Yeah, we way past the 15 second mark. We can cuss now. Vote for Ray, motherfuckers.
Yeah. It is a not safe for work take. We could curse from the beginning.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe next week, I'll just start the episode off with say fudge. You know.
Great. Yo, hilariously, hot take. I hate that movie. Hate might be a strong word.
Not that great. It's just
I don't have the love for it on like the Christmas movie like must watch list that everybody else does.
I don't know who decided it needed a 24-hour marathon.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I was so unimpressed that I had to like watch it back. I thought I was doing something wrong because like I know a lot of people who
you weren't doing anything wrong.
That's why you're my brother, because I know people who swear by that movie, and I was just like, did I got tilt my head like
not to be problematic or even aggressive, but fuck them. That movie's not that great, and I will stand here and say it.
Look, anybody got a problem with it, I'll just say, do you fuck with the war? Like, is that what it is? No, I don't fuck with the war.
No, I don't fuck with the war.
Just don't know how to react to the forces. Shout out to Peanut. Peanut dropped last week.
Yeah, Little Dickie's not listening, but I sure listen to him.
He might be. You know,
as you would say, he's a mensch. So
he is a fucking mensch.
Speaking of mensches, we are on tangent central right now. But fucking shout out to our guy Jeremy. He became a dad today.
Hey, let's go! I probably just peaked crazy in the mic for that, but that was really exciting.
He became a dad today, and
shout outs to Jeremy.
I'll find out if I need to bleep this, but their daughter's name is kind of Star Wars related. They named their daughter Beta, which is kind of like Vader. And I feel like she's, when she's old enough, she's going to be like, I find my lack of Baba disturbing.
Did they name her after My Girl?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask. That movie's sad.
Because I have a coworker who named her daughter Veda, and it was after the character from My Girl.
Well, that movie's the reason why I'm terrified of bees.
They don't bother you if you don't swat at them.
Hey, it doesn't mean I don't run around like a small child when I see them. I'm scared. All right.
We go hard on Earth, Mike. What you want them to do?
I'm a little bitch. Anyways, speaking of bees, got a Bad Batch season 3 trailer. It exploded onto our screens this week. We're going to talk about what we saw in the trailer, how we think the season's going to shake out. I've got a few questions that we're going to go through. I'm not going to throw them all in here right now. We'll hit them one at a time. And, I think it's safe to say that you and I have this philosophy where we don't go looking for content until we cover it because we don't want it to influence what our thoughts are. So I can't wait to hear what other people have to say about these things, because I think there's a lot more than any other Star Wars show to speculate about at present. And there's a lot of cool things that I saw in the trailer, some things that I was really surprised by. So I am very excited to talk about this with you. That is the topic for today, but I do want to give you some time to shine, some real talk with Rogue One. Tell me about watching Empire Strikes Back High.
I'm probably real talk with Rogue One. I got 5 on into sound drop here. But so I was at home, as people are when they watch movies at home. I was like super torn between what to watch. But I knew I was like, I want to get high and watch a movie today. And I was like literally bouncing back and forth because I had just watched Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince a couple days ago. And I was just like, you know what? I want to watch something Star Wars. And I was torn on what to watch because I was just going to watch episode 3 again. That's like my go-to. It's like, don't know what to do? Throw on episode 3. But I don't know, randomly, I was just like, you know what? I ain't watched Empire in a minute. And you know what made me want to watch Empire? It's I don't know why, but I love the what's is the name of the theme that typically plays like when Force Ghosts Bendis runs? Is that like called the Force? Like, is there like a name for that
Force
song?
Theme?
The do 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 do. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the Force theme.
For some reason, like the slowed down version that's I think has a flute in there, like when Obi-Wan's talking to Luke, or like when Luke is trying to force pull the lightsaber to kill the fucking snow beast. I don't know why, but those strings just like core memories.
Speak
like
to you.
They do, and I don't know why. So I was just like, just off of that, just off the instrumental of that, I was like, let me throw on Empire. So I'm watching Empire High. And it like gets to the part, spoilers, like, when, you know, Darth Vader and Luke are like finally like squaring off for the first time, and, you know, Luke gets that ass whooped. And we've talked about ad nauseum that still to this day, it's hard for me to like draw the connection that Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader are the same person. Like there's still like a bit of the wall gets thinner and thinner every year. But I still never have like that, oh, that's the same guy. Like they just seem like two totally different people to me. Because for all intents and purposes, they are. So when Vader and Luke are fighting for the first time, you know, he has the I'm your father. Because you would imagine that he had this information prior to the fight. And he was just sitting on that, oh, I'm going to hit him with this bar at the right time. And I'm just thinking about like the original trilogy in its entirety. What a fucking emotional roller coaster that shit must have been for Darth Vader. I'm like, you've been living for 18 years or 20 years thinking you murdered your wife and by extension your unborn one kid that you thought you were having. And then here comes this little fucking sea urchin that blows up the shit that you and your master have been working on for years. And you're like, this little motherfucker got skills. Reminds me of something, but like, what are the fucking odds that that's your kid? Like that you thought was dead from your wife that you thought you strangled. So here you go thinking that, you know, you just a widower all this time and like didn't get to be a dad. You're like, damn, I wish I could have did all these things with my kid that I murdered. And then your fucking kid happens to be popped up, thriving, and a student of the motherfucker that took your legs. like my dad brother turned enemy is raising my son that I didn't know existed. What the fuck? And then like this all just comes to a culmination where you're like, damn, maybe he just wanted his son back. I haven't got to spend time with my son. Didn't even know you existed until 2 seconds ago. And then you show up and try to kill me? Cause I got my get back on the motherfucker that took my legs. Like, the motherfucker who made me a cyborg, I killed him. Got my revenge. I got my leg back. And now you want to avenge that some bitch and you my kid? Like that just must have been such an emotional roller coaster for Darth Vader, who can't emit emotions because he's trapped in a jukebox, sounding like James Earl Jones. And it was just like, it just made me feel really bad for him. Because I was like, imagine the joy. Oh shit, I didn't fucking carpet bomb every bit of my life as Anakin Skywalker. There is a piece of my old life out there. Oh shit, this guy's an amazing pilot. Tear. tear in my robotic eye sockets. I'm so proud. And then
that's my boy.
Exactly. I just imagine like, you know, the 5 stages of grief. I don't know if there's like an inverse of that, or 5 stages of like whatever it is, but
joy.
It's just like, yeah, it's just like, it's first shock. Wait, my son's not dead. Then it's pride. Oh, he could fly just as good as me. Then it's utter disgust. Fuck, he just blew up this damn ship that I wasted my whole fucking human life to build. And now it's gone. Like,
Luke Jeremy Skywalker.
Right.
We're giving him another shout out.
Yeah, my man Jeremy, congrats, brother. I'm really happy for you. But yeah, I'm just like, Empire being that first moment, because I would imagine that, you know, I just see Darth in his back to tank just rehearsing and say like, Luke, no, I'm your, nope, that's just too loud. It's too loud. I'm your father. No, that's too aggressive. He don't know me. I'm your father. Oh no, that sounds suggestive. It's not a question. I know.
And
who
then the Star
is.
Wars gangster rap plays with, your father. Your father.
Exactly.
Your father. Your father.
I could just imagine the flight over to Cloud City. And him just like getting nervous, palms are sweaty, mechanical knees weak, mechanical arms are heavy. I could just see it. Him just like, all right, this is my moment. I'm about to have a conversation with my son. We're going to build a bridge back to love and happiness. And he tries to kill you.
It's a rough life out there for Darth.
It's when it's hard out here for a Sith. Name of this episode.
100%. Well, that was Real Talk with Rogue One.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you, brother. Let's get into the Bad Batch season 3 trailer. Well, let's hyper dive in, if you will.
Dive right in.
Yes. So,
what a trailer.
It was a very big trailer. There's so many things going on, but like realistically, are we looking at a time skip? Do you think that that's going to happen mid-season? Do you think it's going to be the start of the season? I feel like Omega has 2 different animation models. Like, what's going on? Yeah. Oh, what's going on in your head right now?
Bring on some other shit. So I do think it's a time skip. I think it's like 2 years maximum. I don't think it's like a super time skip. My heart's telling me a year, because I feel like a year is long enough for them to still get that line off. Omega's been waiting for a very long time.
Yeah.
Still think it's long enough to still get that off, but it's not like, oh damn, y'all just abandoned Shorty. Y'all just forgot about her. Mm-hmm. So I do think we do get a time skip. I'm gonna say the first. Well, let's look at these episode names. So the first 3 episodes all drop at one time. So you know what? I'm going to say the first 3 episodes are going to be immediately picking up from where we left off.
Okay.
And then like either the 4th and or the 5th episode will be the time skip. I mean, shit, episode 5 is called The Return. Maybe they're like going back to try to rescue her again at a later date. Like failed attempt. We had talked about. I will say this to kind of jump ahead, because I feel like you probably will get to this. I feel like we got a lot of shit almost correct based off this trailer. Like when we were doing our predictions and stuff, I feel like we're definitely getting that Omega Crosshair adjacent cells conversation. Oh, they miss you. Because what I did notice from like the watch back, because I watched it a whole bunch of times, Crosshairs does seem to be with the boys in certain scenes.
Yes. Yeah, I picked up on that as well. And I think that the return could either be him returning to the Batch or them returning to Mount Tantus.
Because we could assume, based off the images that I thought I saw of Crosshairs in there, I don't see Omega. So maybe I remember one of the predictions that we had said that like maybe they don't both escape, but we had kind of thought like maybe Omega gets out, or Rex and Omega escape and the boys stay behind. Maybe Omega helps Crosshairs escape. Like, oh shit, only one of us is going to make it. You know, I've got to spend all this time with them. You need this. Like, for you to heal, you need this, or something along those lines. And I kind of think that's fire. Like, if that's the way they go, like they go to save them and failed attempt or intentionally Crosshairs gets out, but Omega doesn't. Because then you could have that storyline of him and Hunter is still like animosity. He was just like, you shouldn't even be here. Omega should be the one that we got, but we stuck with you. And he was like, damn, bro, like I'm your brother. I'm your brother too.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited.
I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm going to jump through. Obviously, you have the list of questions in front of you that I'm going to ask.
Yes.
That being said, and like a rescue mission early in the season to try and get her out, and we get Crosshair out. There's a line from Rex about losing more brothers, and they obviously cut to Tech's death scene for a moment, but there is not a lot of Echo in this trailer, and I'm really worried that he's gonna bite it early in the season.
Like maybe like maybe like the initial escape attempt.
Yeah, and I think that could be the reason that Rex hangs the helmet up. Because if you think about it, like all he sacrificed to get Echo out of Skeko Minor in the Clone Wars, which brought him to the batch in the first place. It could be just the final straw that breaks the camel's back. Or I guess in this case, the Bantha's back. But like, I really do have a lot of concerns for him. And it's just, I just think that like we're more likely to face a lot of losses in this season of Star Wars television, more so than we ever have. And yeah, a lot of them are probably going to be clones, but we've also spent a lot of time with these clones through the Clone Wars in various spots, and now in the Bad Batch and others. Thanks to Rebels, we kind of know who walks away, but there's some pretty notable omissions from the trailer. Sid isn't in the trailer. So
traitorous bitch.
Yeah, she is. But I would like to know how that gets resolved. And then
murder.
What happened to Commander Cody? Like, where's he at?
Cody.
We do see Wolf for a moment. So it'll be interesting. It looks like he's working for the Empire. So maybe he gets his chip removed quite late in the game.
Yeah, I do want to comment really quick on what you just said in terms of like Rex hanging up the helmet, because we've talked about this in other episodes, that for creativity's sake, a lot of these people in these fill the gap era shows are probably not going to get like an amazing send off. Some of them are probably going to get just they were just on the other side of the universe. Like none of this got back to them. Cause we talk about, like the sequel trilogy and stuff, and like certain characters, unless they're dead, it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't have gotten involved with Rey and Finn, i.e. Ahsoka. It doesn't make sense for her not to have gotten involved unless there's reasons why she couldn't, which I would imagine Ahsoka in the movies and whatnot will cover that. Rex just retiring and like living a life. I feel like, Hunter just retiring and just living a life like in seclusion or just with the rest of the remaining members of the batch or by himself. I feel like that kind of fits his arc because he's been a soldier for so long.
Yeah.
That's all he knows. Like him just being like, I'm done. Like, and like you said, the Echo dying could be the catalyst. Like, yo, like after this, I'm out. Like Crosshairs, you've always been, my brother, you've always been next man up. The batch is yours. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm out there.
I do think that the batch retiring is a likely scenario, but I would think that I'm more counting on them not making it out of the show, and Omega does make it out. Yeah. But the reason why
Hunter specifically, I could see him. If they split up, the batch splits up, or whoever's left.
Yeah, the reason I think Rex is going to hang his helmet up early is just based off some of the dialogue from the trailer. And Hunter says after that like, we're not out of this fight yet. And I think it's because of he'll have unfinished business to get Omega back.
Right.
And that's obviously the big priority of the season. How much they can do with her on Mount Tantus. It's kind of like having a bunch of bottle episodes, unless they cut back and forth and there's like a lot of narrative going on. Which is possible. I just feel like they could have done that with Crosshair a lot, and they didn't in seasons 1 and 2.
Right. Yeah, that would have been dope.
Like the Crosshair episodes always felt like they were centered around him, if that makes sense.
That makes all the sense.
Yeah, it's just certainly interesting. I'm excited to see how it plays out. In addition to a lot of the clones that we saw. There was a lot of other familiar faces in this trailer that got me very excited.
You don't say.
let's discuss like the implications of seeing familiar faces such as Fennec Shand, Cad Bane, and then boom, mystery behind the return of the long thought to be dead Asajj Ventress. Like that was a fucking massive.
You just shoved it in there. You didn't even warm her up.
Nah, dude, all the way.
I just finished spezzing on a bitch. Yeah. When I felt the joy in that text that you sent me. You're like, bro.
Yeah, I was just genuinely just like, did they just rewrite canon? I'm glad that they put out a little blurb that like it's in line with Dark Disciple. Yeah, and that book is really good. Like it was 8 episodes. Yeah, it was 8 episodes of the Clone Wars that resulted in the end of her story, and how they bring her back. I think I would love
Sister Magic, baby.
Yeah, Night Sister Magic is definitely what I'm thinking. So I'm hoping that there's some really cool stuff behind that. Maybe we get Quinlan Voss in here as well.
I was about to say, our man's name keeps popping up. He got that reference in Kenobi that he was on the path.
So, not my theory. I should have grabbed their Twitter handle, but could you imagine if they're the ones who start the path?
That would be amazing.
It'd be really cool.
That would be amazing. I also saw, because I feel like I might have seen the same thing that you saw, and I did see something. Somebody had mentioned something cool that if this somehow leads to like Rey's rebuilding of the Order, and it's called like the Path, and that could like her students could be like Jedi that escaped, or like their kids that like got through, you know, the Underground Railroad, for lack of a better term, and that would kind of, instead of it being like the Order, it's like the Path, you know.
Yeah, my only pushback on that, because I do like that idea, my only pushback is that just the timeline feels very long for the Path to result in.
I mean, the First Order was a thing that they still kind of was like,
true.
I just hunting down Jedi because only Luke was there, but it was still like,
right. I feel like those children would have ended up in Luke's Jedi school.
I got you. Oh, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. I get what you're saying. That's true.
But I think that there's just a lot of cool things that obviously the Path is in Jedi Survivor. Sorry, spoiler. I mean, we it's all spoilers here at this point.
The game's been out. Play the game.
Yeah,
the game's been out.
You know, I would love to see it pop up more. I think you and I have talked about like a spin-off series, like following.
Just call it the Path, low hanging fruit, bro.
Yeah, the Path. Make it an anthology series. Like bring back our guy Roken.
Exactly.
I'm all for it.
Exactly. Like I feel like I know O'Shea Jackson Jr. had said like, "Yo, sign me up for more Star Wars shit. I would love to absolutely like do more things." So I would love to see like a spin-off story with like him. And, you know, whatever other band of misfits would help, like with On the Path and whatnot. I think that would be super dope. And I feel like that's such a easy way to have like a cameo fest. Like it's a secret underground network to like keep Jedi and Force sensitive people safe. You have so many people, just pop up in episodes like special cameos. Which
it's the perfect way to nostalgia bait / like fan service while telling really cool stories at the same time.
Expand the lore.
So looking through some of the episode titles, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 different days that have multiple episodes releasing.
Let's go.
The vibe I'm getting is that this season is going to be much more focused on the story arcs than just kind of telling a story throughout the season. Do you get that same vibe, or do you think that they'll have their moments to tell their 2-episode arcs in those special events, and the rest will kind of be one-offs?
Yeah, so I'm kind of erring more towards the latter, because, you know, they've been, especially in last season, they were kind of good for doing it. And Rebels kind of like made a history out of doing like, you know, multiple episode stories to tell, like part 1, part 2, without necessarily calling out a part 1, part 2. I do feel like, kind of going back to what I said before, I will say this. I do think that the episodes that are grouped together intentionally for a reason. So like the first 3 coming out, again, I wouldn't be surprised if that's because the first 3 happened within the current timeline that we ended with, and then we get a jump at some point in time. But yeah, I do feel it is kind of just more of like, oh, these too big of an episode to tell in one sitting type time. Yeah, but I'm hype.
I also think this is from season 1 and season 2 had 16 episodes. This one only has 15. I'd be willing to bet that The Cavalry Has Arrived is an extended episode.
Yeah, a longer one. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. One that they feel is a cohesive enough story to just make it one long episode. Kind of like The Premiere. The Premiere was a very long single story episode.
Little
kind of
FF,
like a mini movie. Yeah.
Because I'm a diehard rider for Agents of Shield. You know, Ming Na Wen was her code name, and as a Shield agent, the Cavalry. So I hope she's just in that episode for little shits and giggles.
That would be
that was her nickname.
That would be great.
Cavalry.
I mean, if the Cavalry's coming together, it would be also. I mean, I know that's obviously a callback to Wrecker being like, the Cavalry has arrived, but
I mean, if Fennec Shand's gonna be in it, you can't have the actual the Cavalry.
Yeah, you know, I went off on like
episode.
I went off on a tangent there. We didn't even really talk about anyone other than Asajj, but Fennec Shand being back, I feel like she's gonna help the Batch.
Yeah,
but I feel like Cad Bane is hunting the Batch. I think the Empire has an out for the Bad Batch.
When they had that little fight on whatever planet that was.
Exactly.
Was that Camino when they had one back?
It was like there was Camino technology on the planet, but it wasn't Camino.
Right. That was a good episode.
It was I really enjoyed that episode. It's definitely it's the best show nobody's watching is what the Bad Batch is essentially.
I feel like I know the answer, but I'm probably wrong, so I'm not gonna guess. How long before Book of Boba Fett is Bad Batch? Like how many years?
So Book of Boba Fett is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and this is all taking place, I think, within 2 years after Revenge of the Sith. So they're quite far apart.
So Fennec Shand is just aging like fine wine.
Yeah, pretty much. I would imagine that Fennec is like 20-ish, right, in this portion of the timeline, and 40-ish at the end, because if it's 20 years from then is when A New Hope happens. It's technically 19, but like, and then the 5 years for she is aging like fine wine. She it's like Bo-Katan, like girl, not a gray in sight. Yeah, like Bo-Katan must have been like very early adulthood. I wouldn't be surprised if she was 18 during the Siege of Mandalore at this point.
I mean, wasn't Padme like 17, 18? She was like the youngest queen in like Naboo's history or something like that?
I just lost a trivia to the fact that she was 14 when elected. I got that question wrong. I don't know why. I thought she was 9. But I just learned you something big, as DJ would say.
There you go. But in Phantom Menace, she was like a late teen. So I guess Bo-Katan could have been like 18, 19. You know, when during the Siege of Mandalore, and just
I'm starting to think that humans in the Star Wars universe just tack on fucking 20 years to their lifespan, essentially.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Obi-Wan the series to Alec Guinness, that's only supposed to be like 8 years. My man
they just age fast.
Stress hit him quick.
Like
I guess what you know what? I guess like, you know, when you're a Jedi and you're like younger and you're like more connected with the Force, it might slow down your aging, and then the older you get and your connection weakens, speed you up. Speed you up. Yoda doesn't look a day over 6,000.
So any specific thoughts on Fennec and Cad Bane coming back for you?
I just always love when they're around, like Fennec more, because, you know, she just shows up a lot, and she's like the, damn it, total coincidence that they're, you know, similar in ethnic group. She's like the Wong of Star Wars. Like, you know, totally not a racist comment. They just happen to be similar ethnically. But I love when she pops up, because Ming Na Wen, bro, she's a fucking legend. We've talked about this because she keeps popping up and shit that we cover. I don't feel like she gets her flowers, dog. Like, that's fucking Mulan.
Like, she's Disney royalty, literally.
Like, bro, like, facts. Like, she's a fucking hardcore OG Disney princess, and now she's just a fucking rock star that's been in Marvel, Star Wars. Like, she is like the fucking GOAT, bro.
Absolutely goated. She's
so
fantastic.
I just love when she shows up. Who don't love Cad Bane, bro? Like, who doesn't love Cad Bane? It's so good.
I just so like good. I can't get enough of them. I'm there are a lot of characters that have been introduced recently or like in the last 15 years that I think are just such great Star Wars characters, and he and Fennec Shand are definitely high on that list for me. So.
High, very high. And weren't you saying, you know, in your human holocronus and all your knowledge, like Cad Bane was like, shit, because we can't use this other race of aliens, so let's just throw something in there.
Yeah, so he was brought in because they couldn't animate Dirge from the 2003 series, whose like limbs reconnect via like tentacle. I think he's pretty much immortal. And because of that, like lack of budget in animation is where Cad Bane came from, and he ended up becoming a fan favorite, and I'm super happy about
cult
it.
icon.
Yeah. He's like literally Star Wars Clint Eastwood, I feel like.
Yeah, it's the hat. It's definitely the hat.
100%.
Like, had he come with like a fedora or some shit, I'm like, who's this blue Squidward?
So I have some thoughts on you know, it's crazy. Like, I don't know why I thought this was going to be a much longer episode, but you and I really have hashed out our thoughts and predictions on Bad Batch season 3. If you're interested in hearing some of that, definitely go check out. It's very clearly labeled. It's an earlier episode from just a couple weeks ago.
Yep,
where we make some thoughts and predictions. But one thing that really stuck out to me in this trailer, and is really kind of my final question. I do have some thoughts, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Is what is so important that the Emperor is willing to provide Hemlock with whatever he needs to accomplish it?
Yes. All right. So, gotta walk with me. I might be going a bit off the reservation here with this one. So, I think the obvious answer here is that it has something to do with how he was able to clone himself and come back in the sequel trilogies. Or
bingo.
Yeah, or you know,
that's where I'm going.
So it has something to do with that. So here's where I might be going off the reservation a little bit. And a part of it was inspired by a theory that I saw. And again, if I figure out who did it, I'll scream your credits till the sun goes down. But it was kind of saying like, all right, so now that we're addressing, or like we're getting closer to figuring out how our guy Sheev managed to, you know, cheat death, so to say, and clone himself, or even make the clone of fucking Snoke, which we saw, you know, like the super early deformed Snokes on Exegol and stuff like that. And we know from Boba Fett, from Mando, that Gideon was working on some shit and they were doing like the cloning and they needed Grogu's DNA and stuff like that. And a lot of us are believing that, you know, Palpatine needed like a force sensitive person with like long lasting life to like try to cheat death that way. So something that was kind of pointed out, and I kind of want to expound on top of that. We always talk about, or we don't talk about, or put the connection to, like, we're talking about, you know, DNA and cloning and, you know, cheating death. I don't think it'd be crazy to say that this trying to cheat death somehow might cross paths with Rey's parentage. Like, you know, that being his biological granddaughter, it might not be a traditional, oh, Sheev had a son out there that had a kid, turned out to be Rey. Maybe because we all talk about, like, you know, when it got revealed that Rey was a Palpatine, which I still stand by that was a panic move, that she was supposed to be a Kenobi, but that got leaked and they was like, shit, gotta call an audible. She was never supposed to be a Kenobi. She was. It's fine. Whatever. A lot of people came out and it was like, how the fuck is she a Palpatine? Sheev had kids? You know, that was like a lot of people's like immediate knee-jerk reaction. Like, when did he have a son? Where was this son? At what point in the timeline was this kid? Because this kid would have had to have been old enough, had to have been old enough to have a kid, and then that kid to grow up. So, like, when did this all happen? What if Sheev's son was like a failed cloning attempt? Like, what if it was, you know, one of his attempted clones? And that's where, walk with me, here comes the reservation. Maybe that's why Omega is such an important part into all this, because she's like the original clone of extending somebody's existence, but aging not rapidly. You know, she aging them. So I'm still working on it as I'm thinking about it. But like, I don't know if the ages line up. But like, maybe Omega has something to do with Rey's parentage. Not saying that that's Rey's mom. I don't know if the time would line up.
It very well could be.
Okay, because yeah, she is a kid still right now.
Yeah, she's a child. Yeah, and she's not accelerated. She doesn't have accelerated aging, so it's possible. It would be weird to be like, wow, Omega's death is on screen, and we've seen it and known that it's like it's there for years, knowing that it's like in Rise of Skywalker. But that would be wild if she ends up, like falling in love with a clone of Palpatine who, it's his son, and he grows up, and it's like maybe,
and then, and he grows up like not an evil piece of shit, and that's why he like ran away. He was like, yo, I know who you are. You're not about to groom me to be your fucking body double to take over my consciousness when you croak out. And again, it might not be as literal as Omega's Rey's mom, but Palpatine being so obsessed with cloning, and we know that Grogu plays a part in that later on down being the line, and we've talked about what if Omega is force sensitive, or like has like a connection to it. Maybe she can't use it, but has like a connection to it, and she's the original clone. I feel like those three, we say all the time when we talk about Marvel shit, you can't sit things next to each other that make sense and then tell me that, oh, that's a coincidence. Like, it's like, no, like we're Palpatine has a granddaughter, which means he has a kid that you casted a whole actor to play this son in 2 seconds of a scene. So it's just like, you don't do that if there's not like a point to that character bigger than what we saw. So it's just like, now we're at that point where, he's like boots on the ground, actually going to Tantus and like, yo, like, what we doing? Like, what's up with this cloning? Like, we need to get this right. So it's like, again, it doesn't have to be her literally being her mom, but I would not be surprised if she like has parts. Yeah,
some part of her DNA might have to do with successfully cloning him in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm actually totally on board with that theory. It might not play out that way. It might just be coincidental, but I do think that ultimately what he's after is what we see in episode 9. And this is the thing where it's like, listen, I know people aren't a big fan of Rise of Skywalker. I'm not even that big of a fan of Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
But these animated shows have a tendency to fill in the gaps that make me appreciate the movies a lot more. And I'm kind of okay with it. It just feels like par for the course with Star Wars at this point. So make me like that movie more. I dare you.
Please,
like, go for it. Like, I'm not gonna be upset about it. If you do things that in universe make me feel like there's more, it's more compelling. I have more of a like tie to it. There's other characters that factored into those things happening. If Omega is somehow Rey's mom, like when I watch that movie, I'm gonna be like, this is fucking tragic every time I see her die. Like, and it will make me care more about that movie. But it still remains to be seen, and like, maybe that's not her destiny, but we will see how it plays out, and I think we'll get some answers. I think that we've lived in ambiguity around what they've been calling Project Necromancer in The Mandalorian, but I have a feeling we're going to see the beginnings of it here and get some answers for it. Yeah. So,
and I'm
excited for that.
I feel like accidentally making. Sorry, so because I'm saying it, you gotta put the the comma in the correct place. I'm not saying Omega would accidentally end up as Rey's mom. I'm saying accidentally having Omega be Rey's mom does kind of give you a good reason as to why she hasn't been around for a lot of shit. Cause like, she would have like went on the lam to, save her baby. They had to get rid of her and then poof. So I was like, that's a good explanation as to, oh shit, like that's why Omega hasn't been around. Cause like once we found out that she's like by all intents and purposes, like Boba's sister, a lot of people were saying like Boba's such a big part of Star Wars lore, and especially now with the resurgence of Boba Fett with Book of Boba Fett, it's like, where the fuck is his sister? Where's Omega been at?
Yeah,
like, has she been a character under a helmet that we just don't know this whole time, and this, then, the third? Which I would love that. I don't know who that would be, but I would love for Omega to have just like been around this whole time as someone else under a mask. And it's like, oh shit, I love that character. That was Omega. That's crazy. But yeah, like her being a mother that's trying to protect her child, especially if Omega was like boots on the ground when the fucking necromancer projects were happening, she would know that, oh no, you're not about to raise my kid up to take her to doppelgang her body when you need it, when you croak. So it's like, yeah, she 1000% would have got the fuck out of Dodge and stayed the fuck out of Dodge.
The whole thing is just like the reason she gets dumped with Unkar Pla in the first place is just because Sid had a connect there.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Omega could have went to Hunter in his life of isolation, retired. I have a kid now. We're on the run. Like Sheev's after us. Like, this is what's happening. We need to escape. Like, we need to hide. We need to get this child in hiding. He's looking for us. Like, we need to. We can't be together. She's safer away from us. And Hunter, if Sid makes it right, traitors, bitch. If Sid makes it right, Hunter could be like, let me call Sid. Let's hit Sid up. She's good at hiding shit. So it's just like there's that. I mean, fan casting, but it like I said, it gives her a good reason for have been missing from a lot of major events that we know chronologically are going to happen after this show. So it's like, yeah, she wouldn't have wanted to have been around for the Skywalker saga because she would have been fucking hiding.
Right.
She'd have been on the run.
You have better things to do.
Exactly.
Or who knows when they escape? Maybe they fail. Right? I mean, I doubt it. Let's be real. It's just maybe they do fail and they eventually get out later in life. So we'll see.
Yay or nay? Series finale. After credit scene. End credit scene.
To introduce a new animated show. Yay. If there's not a new animated show coming. Funnily enough, my answer is similar. I feel like if there is one, it would tease something. Like, I don't know what the thing would be, but it would be to get us excited for like, oh shit, they about to do this. It's crazy. This is technically the first Disney Plus era show that has gone for multiple seasons to end.
Yo, you know what? No way this
Loki, I think.
No way this is gonna happen. Well, you know what I would like to see? We get a show ends on a semi-happy note, whatever. We get a little flash forward of Omega living a life that when she went and got herself some of that life that Steve Rogers was looking for. And, she has a baby. And that baby's wrapped up and swaddled, and they're like, "Oh, she's so precious. What's her name?" She's like, "Ray." And then it cuts off. Then it cuts off.
I'm all for connective tissue, baby.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would love an epilogue. I would love an epilogue. That's like one of the best parts of Rebels finale. I think is actually its epilogue.
Exactly.
And then we get cool shows like Ahsoka out of it. So
exactly. Exactly.
I don't have too many final thoughts on this, but I will say there are a few shots from the trailer that I think deserve some recognition. I fucking love the gigantic tank shooting all the missiles out on that bridge.
It's just lit.
I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm really pumped for it. I also saw a clone trooper with purple paint on it, which is like, is that one of Mace Windu's guys?
I feel like that giant truck would be episode 12 because it's called Juggernaut. It just seems like
really cool.
Like that looks like that's what that car's name is.
And I really, really, really am excited to have a reunion between Crosshair and his brothers. I think it's been a long time coming.
Since season 1.
Also, I have one big thing that is like, there's a lot of rampant speculation of like, there's a trooper that is commanding the other stormtroopers, and people are like, oh my god, is that Tech? And it's like, dog, they've already shown us that it's like, there was another clone.
The assassin guys from the last season,
he took like the electric cyanide pill and killed himself. Yeah, it's just another one of those. Calm down. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with like speculating, and like we even just went off on a whole tangent about a theory, but like, let's not get too
that makes no narrative sense for that to be
yeah.
That makes no
Like,
sense. I will say that begrudgingly, and I don't want him to be, but that trailer makes me feel like Tech is still alive. Like, I do feel like
selfishly, I'm here
locked in
for it.
I feel like they got him locked away in a cell, and that's going to be a trump card when the batch feels like they finally about to get a W.
It's going to be crazy if Echo makes it through like almost the entire season, and I just spent all this time worrying about him for no reason. I'm ready to be wrong. Let's be real.
I mean, I could see them calling the audible and like, ew, that is some shit Disney would do. Kill Echo, but then give us Tech back. Disney would 1000% do some shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's probably what's gonna happen now. Echo might bite the dust in like the first 3 episodes, like that initial escape plan, and then I can see the batch trying to, finally get one up on the Empire, and it's like, oh well, don't you want your brother back? It's like, what brother? We got Crosshair back. It's like, oh yeah, brother.
We have lots of brothers.
We spend a lot of time by the water.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if like Wrecker's like, yeah, you gotta be more specific.
Me and my brother spend a lot of time by the water.
Stay above the waterline.
But I could see them killing Echo, but giving us Tech back, and that was just such a great death. I really hope he's dead, and I fuck with Tech. Like I said, like his his power racing episode made me like him a lot, because I'll probably say of the batch, he was probably the one I cared the least about, like and not even like because I didn't like him. It's just like I just liked everyone else more. So he was just like last because someone has to be last, like type time. But I like he moved past Echo for me after he got like that pod
I think
racing
Echo will
episode.
always, because of the Echo 5's relationship, I think I'll always hold him to a much higher
facts,
like level of me enjoying him. But I
was late to the
a hard
game with
time
Clone
letting
Wars.
go.
Yeah, but remember, I was late to the game with Clone Wars, so it was like
true.
I get the Echo, because like, what's funny, that episode, like where like I feel like Echo's existence in Bad Batch isn't appreciated unless you watched Clone Wars, because like that episode where they like free him from like being hooked up to the thing, and he like leaves with the batch and everything like that. Like, I'm so happy that I got to see that, because I watched the like Clone Wars, the series itself, I like was super late to. So I was like I back watched that. But the final episodes I watched in real time. So I was so happy that I got to like see that and then immediately like go into the batch. Cause like had I started watching the batch and like not had that episode, I wouldn't have cared as much about him.
Oh yeah. And like he has those in season 3, the episodes where it's technically the first chronological episode of the show is the first episode of season 3 when he's in his squad with Fives, Cut Up and Heavy and oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the other guy? Droid Bait gets eaten by a worm real quick, so that's probably why I don't remember him. But either way, it's like you see that, and then at the Citadel arc when he does like make the sacrifice to try and save everybody, it's like, oh fuck, and it fails. So it's like it's even more, it kind of like cuts a little bit deeper because it didn't even save everybody. He fucking like ends up biting it right there. So the fact that he ends up being alive later in that arc is just a crazy kind of like storytelling thing, and then it ends up playing out well for the Bad Batch. So yeah, I do very much enjoy him. Let's hope he sticks it out in this season for at least a little while. I'm not naive enough to think that we're not going to lose some friends along the way. But
because only so many people can get the move to the other side of the universe storyline before it's just like, all right, now y'all are just being lazy.
Right. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if they introduce clones like Hauser from season 1 just to have a clone.
Just to kill him off.
Just to kill him off, yeah.
Like,
he has that great speech. He has that great speech on Ryloth where he's like, and I'm not doing this anymore. And neither should you. And other clones start throwing their fucking blasters down and shit. And I'm like, yeah, this guy's great. He's gonna die.
Yo, that's how you know, like when they like bring back like a random under the cover popular character and like a series years later, like, oh, y'all about to kill him. Like, y'all gave us this to take it away. Because you don't want to kill none of the heavy hitters on the show. I see what you did here.
They literally, the only character that's ever survived that shit is Morgan in The Walking Dead.
Yo, facts. Super facts. My man went on to have his own show. He's like, you know what? I'm about to leverage this bounce back. Morgan is the man that can't die.
No, he cannot. All right, Matt. Well, it has been fun talking all things Bad Batch Season 3 trailer. Thank you for discussing it with me. I'm very excited. It's right around the corner. You can listen to coverage of each episode release date here. We'll obviously have a jam-packed episode for the 3 episodes that drop.
Yeah,
and
buddy.
You can probably expect longer episodes or maybe a part 1, part 2 for some of the double episode drops if we deem it necessary. However, I think we're likely to just cover what comes out the week of when it comes out. It's going to be hard not to talk about, I think, the endings of the later episodes without
right,
you know.
Exactly, right.
So we'll handle that as we go there. But Matt, Rogue One, why don't you let them know where they can find us, and then why don't you send us off into the sunset, the binary sunset.
Absolutely. So you can always find myself and the human holocron, aka Darth Plagueis the Wise, here on Annie, Are You Okay? A Star Wars podcast. You can also find our collaborative efforts, me in front of the scenes, him behind the scenes, on our sister podcast, DB4L, Dragon Ball for Life. Dodan Ray, covering nerd culture for the culture with our good buddy Tro To Trav. And on socials for DB4L is going to be DB4L_pod on both Instagram and Twitter. It's Dragon Ball for Life, the number 4, not spelled out, on Facebook. Where else are we at? The YouTube's coming. We keep telling y'all that when it's on the way.
We have a big team meeting coming up. We're very excited.
We do. We have a big team meeting coming up, and we're gonna talk about a lot. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty, and we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up over there. But Animaniacs, it's like y'all already know. It could be this podcaster. It could be that podcaster. It could be those podcasters. Or it could be the one that you should vote for. Ray.
Ray!
Life can be a beach. But as long as there's no sand, you guessed it, Annie gonna be okay.
Be okay. May the force be with you, Matt.
And with you. Later, nerds.
Deuces.
And we...